This is a video on Fundamental Elements 2. Question 1. We want to complete the square. So let's see. We've got x squared plus 16x plus 34, and I'll leave a little room to complete the square. So generally what I do is I take half of 16, which is 8, and square it, which is 64. So I'm going to add 64 and subtract 64. So I haven't changed anything, right? This is x squared plus 16x plus 34. But now this factors into x plus 8 squared. And then 34 minus 64 is minus 30. And so that is of the form x plus a squared plus b, where a is 8 and b would be minus 30. So I'm going to put a equals 8 and b equals minus 30. Question 2 is also complete the square, so I'm starting with x squared plus 10x minus 13, and I'm going to rewrite that as x squared plus 10x minus 13, but I'm going to add half of 10, which is 5 squared, and then I'm going to subtract. Alright, so now again this factors into x plus 5 squared, and minus 13 minus 25 is minus 38. So that has the form, now here we want x minus h squared plus k. So since it's minus h, h would be minus 5, right? So, so this is, but actually all I have to do is fill in what goes inside the square, which is x plus 5, and then plus a minus 38. Okay, question 3. Use the quadratic formula. Okay, so remember the quadratic formula is x equals negative b, and b is minus 2. So 2 plus or minus the square root of b squared, so that's minus 2 squared, minus 4, a is 2, and c is minus 4, all over 2a, a is 2. So it's going to be 2 plus or minus the square root of 4, and I have two minuses, so that's going to be plus 32 over 4, which is 2 plus or minus the square root of 36, which is 6, over 4. So let's see. When it's plus, I get 8 over 4, which is 2. And when it's minus, I get 2 minus 6, which is minus 4, over 4, which is minus 1. So I'm supposed to enter my answers like this, separated by commas. And since I got integers for both, I could have done this by factoring as well. All right, in this question, we're supposed to use factoring to solve. But I first have to put everything on one side of the equation and set it equal to 0. So I'm going to write x plus 4 squared minus 2 times x plus 4 minus 5x plus 28 equals 0. So x squared plus 8x plus 16 minus 2x minus 8 minus 5x minus 28 equals 0. So I've got x squared, that's this, and then I've got an 8x minus a 2x minus a 5x, so that's all together, that gives me plus 1x. Then I've got a 16 minus an 8 minus a 28, and that gives me minus 20. And this factors into x plus 5 times x minus 4. So either x plus 5 has to be 0 or x minus 4 equals 0, which gives me either x equals minus 5 or x equals 4. And again, I enter the answers separated by commas, like that. All right, another factoring one, and again, if I'm going to solve an equation, I need to set it equal to 0. So I'm going to write it this way, and that's x squared minus 2x minus 35 equals 0. That factors into x minus 7 times x plus 5. So either x minus 7 has to be 0 or x plus 5 equals 0. So that means either x is 7 or x is minus 5. All right, so for this one, we subtract 12 in order to set it equal to 0. And this, if we FOIL it, we get x squared minus x plus 3x, so plus 2x, and then minus 3, and then a minus 12. So that means x squared plus 2x minus 15 equals 0. This seems to be x plus 5 times x minus 3 is 0, which means x plus 5 is 0, or x minus 3 is 0. So that means x is minus 5, or x is 3. So those are my two answers, minus 5, 3. Okay, this one now involves a lot of fractions. So what I could do is multiply everything through by the least common multiple of the denominators, which would be 4 minus t squared. Right, so what I'm going to do is write 10 over 2 minus t times 2 minus t times 2 plus t plus 5 over 2 plus t times 2 minus t times 2 plus t plus 2 over 4 minus t squared times 2 minus t times 2 plus t equals 0 times 2 minus t times 2 plus t. And then we see that we can cancel the 2 minus t's there, and we can cancel the 2 plus t's there. And then this is 4 minus t squared, so that cancels with that. And then this is just 0, because 0 times anything is 0. So what we have then is 10 times 2 plus t plus 5 times 2 minus t plus 2 times 2 minus t is 0. And what's that? That's 20 plus 10t plus 10 minus 5t plus 4 minus 2t equals 0. So 20 plus 10 is 30, plus 4, 34. And then 10t minus 5t minus 2t is 3t. That is 0. So that means 3t is minus 34. So t would be minus 34 over 3. And that's what I enter for my answer. In question 8, we also have an equation involving fractions, so I'm going to do the same thing as I did in the previous question. I'm going to multiply every term by the least common multiple, which would just be the product of all those denominators. So x plus 3 times x plus 4 times 6 minus 1 over x plus 4 times x plus 3 times x plus 4 times 6. And, well, let's just set equal to 1/6 times x plus 3 times x plus 4 times 6. And so we can cancel the x plus 3's, the x plus 4's, and then the 6's. So that gives us 6 times x plus 4 minus 6 times x plus 3 equals x plus 3 times x plus 4. So this is 6x plus 24 minus 6x minus 18 equals x squared plus 3x plus 4x, so plus 7x plus 12. And we can cancel the 6x's on the left. So we have 24 minus 18, which is 6. So let me turn it around. So x squared plus 7x plus 12 equals 6. Now I want 0 on one side. So x squared plus 7x plus 6 equals 0, subtracting 6 from both sides. And this factors, so this is x plus 1 times x plus 6 equals 0, which means that either x plus 1 is 0 or x plus 6 is 0, and that means either x is minus 1 or x is minus 6. I should make sure that that because I have fractions, I really should make sure that when I plug these values into my original equation, I don't get a 0 in the denominator, which I don't. Okay, the least common multiple here is 2x, so I'll multiply everything through by 2x. So 9 over x times 2x plus 3 over 2x times 2x equals 10 times 2x. And for the first one, just the x cancels. For the second one, the 2x cancels. So I have 18 plus 3 equals 20x. So 20x equals 21, and so x is 21 over 20. Okay, so we need to rewrite this in the standard form of a circle, and we reminded what that looks like right here. So we're going to have to complete the square twice. So I'm going to rewrite this equation right here. So we'll just group the x terms together. So we have x squared minus 4x, and then we'll leave a little room, and then we have y squared minus 10y, and then the 25 will subtract from both sides of the equation and write equals minus 25. So that's equivalent to the equation that I'm given. Now I'm going to add half of 4 squared, which is 4, so I'll add 4 to both sides. And then I'll add half of 10 squared, which is 25, so I'll add 25 to both sides. So same equation, or an equivalent equation anyways. And then everything now should factor. So this is x minus 2 squared, and this is y minus 5 squared. And the 25's cancel, so I just get equal to 4. And we remember that for the equation of a circle, if we write it as x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared, then hk would be the center, and r would be the radius. So if I look at the equation that I have right here, hk would be 2, 5, and since 4 is r squared, r would be 2. So the radius is 2, and the point is 2, 5. Okay, so we'll find the solutions of this equation. So we'll set everything equal to 0 by subtracting 125. And this is really a quadratic equation. I mean, you could do a change of variable. If I let t be x squared, then t squared would be x to the 4th. And so I could rewrite the equation like this, and now it looks quadratic. And then I hopefully can factor this. So t, 5 times 25, I think will work, minus plus equals 0. So t is minus 5, or t is 25. But since t is x squared, t is greater than or equal to 0, so t can't be minus 5. So the only possibility is that t be 25. Now t is x squared, so that means x squared is 25. And that means that x can be 5 or minus 5. All right, so for question 12, we have to solve a cubic equation. And generally, we don't know how to factor a cubic equation. However, if we know we're given one of the factors, then we will be able to do it. So we're told here that x equals 1 is a solution. And you can check that if you plug in x equals 1, you'll get 1 equals 0. You'll get 0 equals 0, sorry. So, so that means that I should be able to factor this into x minus 1 times some polynomial, which is going to be a quadratic. And once I figure out what that quadratic is, I can factor it because I know how to factor quadratics. So, so how do I find my p of x? Well, I use long division. I'll take 5x cubed minus x squared minus 5x plus 1, and I'll divide by x minus 1. So I get 5x squared 5x cubed minus 5x squared. Subtract, I get 4x squared. Bring down the minus 5x plus 1. Then x goes into 4x squared 4x times. So 4x times x is 4x squared. And times 1 is minus 4x. Subtract, and I get minus x plus 1. And then finally, minus 1. I get a remainder of 0, as I should. So this means that I can factor my original cubic into x minus 1 times 5x squared plus 4x minus 1. Okay. So this. And now that's a quadratic, so I ought to be able to factor that, hopefully. So let's see, 5x times x gives me 5x squared, and then 1 is 1 times 1, and if I put a plus here and a minus there, I think that's it. Okay, so so that's supposed to equal 0, right? So that means either I have x minus 1 equals 0, or 5x minus 1 equals 0, or x plus 1 equals 0. So that means x is 1, or 1/5, or minus 1. And I guess I'm just supposed to list the solutions other than 1, so I'll put 1/5 and minus 1. Okay, this equation involves fractions, so I'll do what I usually do. So I think I'll multiply everything through by 8. So I have 4x minus 6 over 4 times 8 plus x minus 1 over 2 times 8 is 1/8 times 8. And 8 over 4 is 2, and 8 over 2 is 4, and 8 over 8 is 1. So I have 2 times 4x minus 6 plus 4 times x minus 1 equals 1. So 8x minus 12 plus 4x minus 4 equals 1. 8x plus 4x is 12x. And then minus 12 minus 4 is minus 16. And I'll subtract the, well, actually, let's just leave it. So minus 16 equals 1. So I guess what I should do is add 16. So that's 12x equals 17. And then x is 17 over 12. All right, so this one is the square root of x plus 3 cubed is 125. Well, that means that square root of x plus 3 must equal 5, because 5 cubed is 125. Square root of x then is 2, and so x must be 4. And that's the only solution. Okay, so now I'm supposed to come up with the equation for this graph. I can see that the y-intercept right here is at minus 3, and the x-intercept is at 5. So that means the slope is 5 over 3, no, 3 over 5, right? So the slope is 3/5, and the y-intercept is minus 3. So the equation should be 3/5 y equals 3/5 x minus 3. I think they are just asking for m and b. So m would be 3/5 and b would be minus 3. To write this equation, to find the slope and the y-intercept, I just have to write it in the form y equals mx plus b. So that means I have to solve for y. So I get 14y is 11x minus 4. Y is 11 over 14x minus 4 over 14, which we could reduce to 2 over 7. So my slope is just a number in front of x, so that's 11/14. And the y-intercept is the number that's added, right? The plus b, so that's minus 2/7. To find the slope of the line through two given points, I use the formula for the slope. So it's the change in y over the change in x. So 4 minus 6 over minus 8 minus a minus 16. 4 minus 6 is minus 2. This is minus 8 plus 16, so it's 8. So that reduces to minus 1/4. That's my slope. And then I can use the point slope form to write my equation. I'm just asked for an equation, so it doesn't have to be in a particular form. So I can just write y minus 4 equals minus 1/4 times x minus a negative 8 plus 8. And that should be fine. This one is similar to what we just did because I'm given a slope and a point and I want the equation, so I can write y minus the y coordinate of the point equals the slope times x minus the x coordinate, so x minus a negative 1 or x plus 1. So that's fine for the equation, but now I want to find the y-intercept, so I have to write it in the form y equals mx plus b. So that means y equals minus 5x plus 1 plus 6, which is minus 5x minus 5 plus 6, or minus 5x plus 1, and the y-intercept then must be 1. Now we want the equation of a line that goes to a given point and is perpendicular to a given line. So the line that we're given, 5x plus 4y equals 5, can be rewritten as 4y equals minus 5x plus 5, or y equals minus 5/4 x plus 5/4. So the slope of this line is minus 5/4. But since I want a line that's perpendicular to this line, that's going to be minus the reciprocal, so 4/5. And so I've got my slope, and I've got my point, so I can write the equation y minus 5 is 4/5 times x minus 3. And solving that for y, we get 4/5 x minus 12/5 plus 5. So 4/5 x. 5 is 25/5. So minus 12 fifths, I think, is 13 fifths. So the slope is 4 fifths, and the y-intercept is 13 fifths. For this last equation, we again have a point, 3, 5, but now we want our line to be parallel to the line through these 2 points. So the slope here for the line through minus 2, 2 and 2, 3 is 3 minus 2 over 2 minus a minus 2. So that's 1 over 4. And since our line is going to be parallel, it's going to have the same slope. So we've got our slope, 1/4, and we've got our point, 3, 5. So we can write down the equation, y minus 5 is 1/4 x minus 3. And then if we solve for y, we get 1/4 x minus 3/4 plus 5. And 5 is 20/4. So this is 1/4 x plus 17/4. So B would be 17/4. And that's it.